Now, let me preface this because when the drinking age changed from 18 to 21, I was in Ohio. I was 19, and so I got grandfathered in. So if you started drinking, you could still drink, even though the new drinking age was from 18 to 21. And I don't remember, again, that was 1984. You could drink when you're in high school because you were 18 in high school, right? Which is scary to think that my son at the age of 17 could drink in a year. I was like,
I know.
And I don't remember a whole lot of brushback. I don't know if we could do that now. I think if we change the drinking age to 21 to 24, I don't think America would have it because we're too.
Right.
You're not going to tell me I could handle my own. You're not. Back then, it was like, okay, put your seatbelt on. No more drinking until you're 21. You're like, okay. I mean, we just did it. When the government told us to do something, we just did it and we shut the hell up. Now it's like, bullshit. I'm drinking.
Whatever.
Grandfather my ass. I'm 20 and I've been waiting my whole life to drink at 21. Now you're going to tell me it's 24? Blow me. I'm not doing that. And I also think the driving age should be 21, but we can't do that because we need our teenagers driving because we don't want to drive their ass around till 21. That's why we do that. That's why we do that. Our insurance and everything would be much better. Ask Chris Doris, State Farm 957799. Chris Doris, long recognized, one of the top 10 agents out of 18,500, by the way.
Chris would love it.
He'd probably hate it because he'd lose his ass. He loves them 16-year-olds getting behind the wheel of Daddy's new Tahoe. But it wouldn't be a much safer. But that's one of those things where the parents are like, well, it's not. Yeah, it's okay. We will kill our politicians if they ever make that law into effect. So anyway, so it was 18. So how old are your kids?
20 and 22.
Did they have fake IDs?
Yes, they do. Well, my son doesn't because he's 22.
Okay.
But I did find out that both my kids had fake IDs. It blew me out of the water.
And what did you say?
I had one. So
okay, I'm not talking about you. That was
what did I say? I said that's not right.
That was the 70s and 80s.
You shouldn't.
It's the law.
Yeah, it's not right.
You shouldn't be allowed to go in a bar. There's a reason why you need to be 21 before you can start taking your liquor. I know you've drank because we've had parties and you sip and stuff like that. I
didn't. It's weird. I didn't go like off on them because, again, you get to this place, I can't control it. I mean, I gave them my opinion. I was like, I said, you could be arrested for that and all that kind of stuff.
Were they living at home with you and they had their fake ID?
No.
Okay. Would you allow them to live at home with you if they had a fake ID?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If I found it, they're at it because I control. Okay. There go the car. There go the keys. Yeah. There goes the thing. You got to give me all your electronics.
Now remember, back in the 80s, we had fake IDs when you were 15.
Yeah.
Because the drinking age was 18.
Well, that's
so you had to get fake IDs really early.
Yeah, that's where you were.
And you had to look like, and people didn't get carded.
Well,
and
it wasn't digital.
Or you had the old guy down the street go buy your beer for you.
That's right.
And I'll be the first to admit that I didn't drink regularly or anything, but I was 16, 17. I remember going to some parties with some friends, and I would drink. I never got drunk or threw up all over the place. And so I ran into someone yesterday that was out in L.A. with her daughter, and she mentioned her daughter's 18, very pretty. She's trying to be a model, and she's just looks wonderful, and I think she's going to do great. And she's like, she didn't even get carded out there, and I was like, well, why would she get carded? She's 18, and like, they don't even card anybody out in L.A. Rodeo Drive. Well, they didn't, and I said, well, it's because she looks like she's not 18, and she said, yes, she never even needed to use her fake ID. And I was kind of like, now I had my 3 kids there, and they weren't paying attention. And I was kind of like,
wait, she was with her daughter?
She was with her daughter. She didn't have to use her fake ID. And I'm going, and the old man in me came out, and I was like, bullshit. I mean, I didn't say anything because I was kind of like, it's her child. You mother the way you want to mother. But I'm thinking, if I found out my 18-year-old son had a fake ID and he was living here at home, and there was nothing I could, I would probably lose my shit. And a lot of it has to do with because of my past, because I know it's an incredibly slippery slope. I know we used to get drunk and throw up all over each other when we were 18. I get it, and thank goodness the majority of us don't have the chemical imbalances to create an addictive property in our brains. But I also know that there's a reason why we have laws in place, and psychologically speaking, why it's better, We see it on college campuses all the time. That's one of the reasons kids go to college, so they can drink and be who they want to be. And we've seen hazing situations. We've seen people die. Those are outliers. I get that because for every kid that's found drunk, there's a million of them who get drunk and they make it to class the next day. I get it. And and again, I've drank my entire life. I don't drink anymore. But to further my point, I was like, it would really bother me. And she was kind of like it was just a foregone conclusion. Any of these kids, they're gonna get fake.
But you see what I mean? Like,
and I'm going.
I'll pass. I'll pass judgment. I'll pass judgment. That is a great example. I don't know her story.
Yeah. And I love this woman. She's a great mom, and
no.
I've known her to be a great mom. I was kind of like,
yeah. No, I'm not saying that she's been a horrible mom. Mm-hmm. Not saying that. But if you come in to me, see me about anything, right? You see me about anything. I got problems with my life or my marriage or anything.
Yeah.
And that kind of conversation, and then I got a daughter who I want to do the best. We're going to go out to LA together. And it would have to be a weird circumstance, but it came up. She told me the same story in therapy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, hang on. Your daughter has a fake ID and you know about it and you allow that. And she, I said, no, tell me more. Why do you allow that? What it's illegal. Mm-hmm. What's the reason that you would allow her to have it? And then you just stop for a second, because there is no reason. There is no reason.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those ones, you asked me. I knew that one of my kids had a fake ID. I could ask for it back. They weren't living in my house. They're 20. I told them that I don't condone it. B, your ass gets arrested. You're arrested.
Yeah.
You get expelled from school. Good luck. You better get a job. So I had to go down that route. But I sure as hell didn't go, oh, that's fantastic. That's great. That's great. And I'm thinking about a couple times that I've been out to dinner with my kids when they were underage, and neither of them ordered drinks.
Yeah.
Even a glass of wine. But this is an example of, this is a parenting thing. That is not allowed. There is no condoning of that. What you are doing is you are saying that something illegal is okay with you, and so the lesson you're teaching your kid is that that's okay. Like,
yeah, and that's exactly how I took it. And I was kind of like, whoa. And particularly the profession that she's wanting to get involved in has got a lot of stereotypes and scrutiny about drug usage and alcohol and keeping the thin figure. And I was kind of blown away. And again, I love this woman. She's great, and she's. But when I heard that, I was kind of like, and I didn't say anything because when someone gives you information,
it's not your job.
They're not asking me, well, do you think it's okay? It's not my. So I just was like, wow,
right.
I didn't know what this. I was kind of like, and I know some people probably said, what, but I don't think she was testing me either. I don't think she was telling me that to hear something back.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of second nature. It was like, yeah, and I was like, okay, well, because if she's 18, she's hanging out with people that are 21 or older.
Yep. Which
that age difference is pivotal in the development of a lot of different things in life, including future relationships. And I was kind of like, wow. And I just, the old man came at me a little bit, but I was kind of like, wow.
But that's not, that's, again, we talked about it.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It's not cool when you're over 40 to be with your kid who's 18 or 19 and have a fake ID, and you think it's okay.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
I'm not stupid. Okay.
Well, yeah.
I understand that 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and now maybe 20 or 21-year-olds that aren't old enough to drink, and they go to a college for whatever it is.
Yeah.
That I'm not saying that 19, 20-year-olds don't drink. We know they do because they're on college campuses, and I'm not an idiot, and I hope they're super careful. Although it's illegal, I get it, I understand it. It's you go to Bryant Denny on any particular weekend, or Jordan Hare, or even Protective Life, you're going to see underage people drinking beer out in parking lots.
Sure.
So much like allowing a 13 or 14-year-old to drive, which we've all done, My 14-year-old son, Santo, now he's 17. I had him in a car because I wanted him to try to get ahead of the curve a little bit. Right. I didn't want to throw out driving
but
at
you
16.
Didn't throw him the keys.
No, I didn't. And tell him to go ride down the interstate by himself. I took him in a parking lot. So I know a lot of parents who will allow their kids to imbibe at a young age. Maybe it's a celebratory thing. Maybe it's a glass of wine.
Yeah.
My dad, sip my beer?
Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah.
And it was nasty.
Right, exactly.
And I think he did it so I wouldn't want to drink.
Most of us parents do that. Yeah, that's a very,
But I also know some parents that have done that, and their kids, next thing you know.
And then they think it's funny.
They do think it's funny. And when I got married at my house, and I had a kegerator downstairs, keg refrigerator, that had a full keg in it, and I allowed people to come in and pull the tap because draft beer is delicious. And several times I went in there and saw some of my nephews who were 17, 18.
Yep.
So my marriage, they weren't driving. I was kind of like, and their dad wasn't around. I was kind of like, okay. And I was like, hey, y'all be careful. And it was just, and every time I walked in, they're pulling the tap. I'm like, oh, they're in, and it wigged me out a little bit. Are you okay with parents doing that?
Well, again, there's the line, right? So there's a lot of lines. I mean, I remember growing up, and my parents would have parties. We'd help clean up.
Yeah.
Drink, and you'd get sick.
Yeah.
Or it would be gross. So this is that line you hear all the time. Well, I'd rather have them drink here than.
That's the mother who throws the prom party at the house
and buys the beer,
and they're having sex and everything else. And
no, that doesn't work. And, this is, and again, that's.
Well, they're going to do it anyway, Josh.
Yeah, well, I was just going to talk about.
At least I'm here.
I talk about the college campus, right? You find out your kid went on a bender, and vomited his brains out, right? And fell down and hit his head. Not a concussion. Fell down and hit his head. Okay. And you go down, you visit him or whatever, and you see, and he's a big bump. What happened? I got a little drunk. And be like, okay, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem. Now, if it happened once, it's still a problem. But then it happens 2 or 3 times, and I hear parents like, well, the kids are going to be kids. Okay, well, here's the deal. Here's how this works. If your kid's down at college and drinking, which we can't control, different colleges have different universities put in different rules. I love where one of my kids went, where they had and other schools have this. There's basically students who are trained as EMTs. And if you get drunk or somebody gets drunk and is really sick or has hurt themselves, before the cops are called, it's a student-run group. They will pick you up. They will provide first aid, and nothing gets said, nothing gets done. That's right. This will wash you. But if that's happening and your kid is, maybe their grades are slipping a little bit in college, or they got to drop a class. Or they come home and, they're just kind of not the way they're supposed to be. You're not allowed as a parent to say kids will be kids. Like, you got to have the criteria. Now, if your kids are pulling all their grades off and everything is good, you still have a risk. Your kid may secretly have an alcohol dependency problem. They could be doing coke or whatever. But particularly if you see it, if you see the signs, your kid fell over and was drunk and passed out and woke up with no clothes on, and you heard about it.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So again, you bring it into the house. What are you bringing into the house? Are you saying that in the house you will, you will provide champagne, a glass of champagne to everybody because they graduated, underage kids? Mm-hmm. First thing you do is you're asking all the other parents, are you okay with that? Yes or no? You're not just having it. Second of all, again, this is freaking grow up. If you got kids driving to your house and they're coming with a 6-pack because it's okay, because you're a freaking idiot as a parent.
Yeah.
There is no, stop, grow up. This is the thing. It's not cool. And saying that, well, they're going to drink, someplace else. I'll tell you one thing, my kid's not. Yeah. And if they're going to sneak out and do it, then you're right. I can't control that. But if my ass finds that out, I mean, that's the whole point as parents. It's our job to be the police. Yeah. It's our job to do that.
And I think a lot of, and we all have these stories about our dads giving us our first drink of beer.
That's fine.
It is fine, but think about why they're doing it. It's like feeding a dog table scraps. You know it's not healthy for them.
Yep.
But it makes you feel better by giving them something that they really like and they enjoy. And dogs will beg for it over and over and over again. Well, it depends on
the age, though. It depends on the age, right? Because I did with my kid.
Now, if one of my kids said, I want to know what it tastes like.
Right.
Or why do you drink so much of that?
Yep.
Or sees me how I react and I don't want to be seen drunk around my kids, then that's a little different. And I'd say if you want to take a sip to see what it tastes like, that'd be...
Versus here's have a beer?
Yeah, because I think in most cases, at least during our time, the fathers were like, "You want to take a drink of this? You want to have?" You know, and I can think of a family member who used to smoke a lot, offered my son when he was like 9, smoke, and I'm like, "Dude, whoa!"
Well, first again, 9,
and we were having a good time, and I was like, we were sitting there playing. I was like, "Dude," and he's like, "I'm sorry, that was totally." I said, "Yeah."
You realize?
Yeah, I was like, "Dude, I don't want my kid to even be around cigarette smoke," and this is 8-9 years ago, so I'm kind of like, whoa.
I did that with I did that with cigars.
Yeah,
my grandfather did that with me.
Yeah, cigars are different.
We did that with
55-year-old smoking cigars. Now that's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, because Tom Selleck still does it. If
you're
old and smoking a cigar and sitting in a bar, you're good.
You're very good.
And you're drunk off your ass, I'm okay.
But it is, again, there is the difference between introduction. There's the difference between sort of cultural practices, right? And that's the thing. I don't know. We were talking about it this week. The line. Oh, it's the harassment line.
Yeah.
There is a line, and you as a parent, or forget you be a parent, you as an adult.
Yeah.
And what it says a lot is, and we've all been there. We want to be the cool parent. Mm-hmm. You want to be the one. I mean, you don't want to be Nikki Sixx's mom, but you want to be the.
I don't know. She dated Richard Pryor. That's pretty cool.
You know what would be interesting? They used to do this. They do this on ESPN NBA specials where they have the mamas. Mm-hmm. Mamas. Have we ever had a show with? I mean, again, many of these rockers are so old. But we were at a show where they have like all the moms, like Motley Crue's moms.
No.
See, that would be really cool.
They still, they're most of them are probably dead.
Yeah, because they're 60.
they're all dead, and I don't know if we want to take like Harry Styles' mom. It would be, or Britney Spears' mom. I mean, who cares?
Well, we know about Britney Spears' dad.
Yeah, I mean, who cares?
Okay, never mind.
I like your idea, though. It would have been huge 20 years ago.
It would have been a great show, an MTV show.
Maybe you should pull up rockers' moms and find out.
We're going to.